Hello again, viewers, and greetings, fellow space travelers. This is Thorn of Night, and welcome back to Performium on the Duck SMP server. And welcome back to my little subscribe head. And he's particularly thrilled with all of you guys and would like to welcome all the new faces. And what I mean by all the new faces is this number here. You guys are still changing it, and it is wonderful. It is 9 higher than the last video, and I could not be more thrilled. Well, maybe I could be more thrilled. Let's see if we can get that even higher. Let's see if we can get that to 2,000 and beyond. Look at how happy he is. Anyway, I'm back here at the eventually to be renovated cave. It occurs to me I could push the walls out a little bit too. Anyway, I'm not going to be working on this probably today, at least not as the main project. I might be doing a little bit of fiddling around later, but we have a task today, you and I, and it involves going out to the volcano area with a map, but not this map. We're going to get a whole new one. I need some paper, or I could just get a map. That works too. And then we're going to go to the volcano. Home volcano. Because I want to do something today. The volcano itself is not ready to be built just yet. I have quite a ways to go for my design. I'm working on another separate map on single player test world. I want to go this way. I need to tear down that wave. Uh, Before I talk about what I was wanting to start working on today, I wanted to show the progress. Yeah, this is it. We have been slowly but surely deleting the water in this ocean, and you can see the the tsunami back wall of the wave here. And after everything is all done, I'm not going to do it now, but after everything is all done, this top layer of glass is going to get taken out and water is going to be cascading down all the way around the entire circumference interior. And then the terrain is going to be getting leveled out mostly, and there's a lot of stuff going on in there. But the current step is getting rid of the water, and it seems to be going along quite nicely. Wanted to show you some of that progress. But that's not what I wanted to work on today. Today is going to involve the volcano area, but not down here. We're going to go all the way to the top, and as we go, I'll just go ahead and activate this map. Good. That is good. I did remember it correctly. That is delightful and thrilling. What we are going to be doing is way up here at the build limit. And I believe that this is the build height. If I can place a torch. Cannot place a torch. Cool. So this block right here, this level, is where I am going to be doing the project. And it involves this map here. I have two different projects that are going to revolve around maps for this server. One is going to be related to the museum that I'm going to be building. That's a separate project. That's not going to be happening here. This is going to be my logo. From one side of the map to the other, it's going to have the Thorn of Night logo on it because I want to have something to show off one of its functions. And wow, that is so far down there that you cannot see the ground. That is interesting. The project I have in mind is going to involve making a platform all up here that is map sized, and I'm going to be turning it into my logo. The dark gray background with the light, or the, yeah, it'll have to be the light blue, not cyan would be too bright. And it's going to fill this entire map, and it's going to be right here. And here it shall live forever. And I want to just go ahead and hammer that out today. I was thinking of putting it off until after the volcano started getting built, but I realized that I want to have an idea of exactly where the smoke needs to go for putting the flat layer of smoke up here and adding the billows and all that kind of stuff. The first thing I need to do is make a platform. That's not going to be too big of an ordeal. I then have to decide whether I want this to be carpet or wool, and I don't think it makes any difference as far as the coloration. So probably going to just go ahead and do carpet because that should conserve on resources. Well, let's see here. 2 wool makes 3 carpet, so that's instead of 2 blocks to 3 blocks. That's 50% more. So just right out the gate, the carpet's going to be better. So dark gray carpet and light blue carpet are what I'll be needing. And I'm going to turn this into a map that says Thorn of Night, and you will see why once I'm done with it. But I need to start building the platform. I need to go get probably just some cobblestone or something, and then I need to get quite a lot of wool. This is 128 by 128, so I guess it's just cobblestone time. So I'm going to get building a great big square of cobblestone, and then I need to get a whole lot of wool. Oh my. That's a lot of wool. Okay, I'll be back. A couple quick things to keep in mind when it comes to making pixel maps like this is first off, you're going to need to figure out where the edges of the map are. And if you are holding the map in your hand, it can be kind of hard to tell. For instance, if I were to, well, first off, here's a pro tip. Holding it in your offhand, you get that little one, but holding it in your main hand with nothing in your offhand, you get to zoom in. But if you look at this, you can see at the edge that I am running or flying along that I have placed that row of blocks, and it is right there. And it looks like there's a darkness to the south of it, and there actually is, and that's because this is the actual edge of the map here. And that's another thing when it comes to making these to keep in mind is have a block that you can clearly see when you place it. So now there is that light blue, well, cyan blue. No, that's light blue. Oh, I don't know. Hold on. Let's grab it again. That's light blue. Okay. So there's the light blue wool down there on the base of the map, and that is the absolute edge. You can see that there is also at the very northernmost part a dark bar that goes across the map. And let me grab this wool again. I'm going to place this wool here, and then I'm going to switch back over to the map, get out of range. Oops. And you can see that even though there is that dark bar that goes across the northern edge, the wool itself is actually on the map edge and is completely contained within. When you are doing maps, the height of the block is going to determine some of the shading coloration of the block adjacent to it. You can see that down in the ocean, the terrain on the north face of a block, there is a light spot. And then on the south face, there's a dark spot. So if I come over here, if I am looking at the north end of the shape, then you can see that part of the map in my offhand, this part right here is all dark. And that's because the shadow always, no matter where the sun is, whether it's day or night, the shadow always comes from the north and is cast to the south of a block. So if I put a block anywhere where it's flat, there's going to be a bright spot to the north and a dark spot to the south. And that is just universal. What that means for up here is when I am done with this project, I'm going to want to tear down this outer barricade because if you look at it, you see that there is, in fact, a nice dark line, solid, and it helps to figure out where the edge is, but it will interfere with the coloration of this edge of the map build itself. So having something perfectly level with no obstructions on any of the sides will make you have the most even coloration. But that also means that if you want to play around with hues and tones, you can have high spots and low spots and use the shading to your advantage to have different colors of light and dark blue. So for instance, I could have maybe some, if I put, well, let's look at this. I am back up here with two more wool because there is a noticeable difference that I want you to see between the three different positionings of wool. And these are all the same color wool. It is light blue. And this right now, because it's out away from any of the walls, it will cast a shadow to its south, but the block itself now counts as the bright block. However, once I place a second block near it, well, first off, that's what it looks like as that. Once I place a second block near it, you'll immediately be able to see that just to the north, the block is dark, and it has changed the brightness of the first block. The first block was what color this is going to end up being, and that is now the bright one. So you can see one block, I can get three different colors out of it. And that is how the whole shading principle works with this. And I was thinking about maybe doing something with the shading and having the the Thorn of Night logo be staggered so it could match more exactly the color that I have for my logo on uh, YouTube and Discord and whatnot. But it's not as vital for me to get the colors to match perfect. And I also don't want to mess too much with the height of this because in order to do that, the letters are going to have to start up here, and then they are going to have to slant all the way down, and that's just going to take up too much vertical space. So I'm just going to work with what I've got here and use the whatever the color is as it shows up next to the dark gray. Anyway, back to work. So two interesting things that I have discovered that I did not know. Firstly, if you try to open a shulker that is at the build height, even with an empty hand, I'll just put this in here. There we go, empty hand. You can see that I can open them. But if you try to open them from the top, it says height limit for building is 256. Also, if you look carefully at the map, you can see that the only block that shows up is this one piece of cobblestone right there in that row or column or whatever, that line of shulkers. The only block that actually shows up on the map is the cobblestone, and you can see the example of what happens when it's all by itself. You get well, first off, this array is all cobblestone. The raised part is the top of the actual cobblestone itself, so the bright spot is where the block is located, and then just to the south of that is the dark spot. So there you can see all three colors of cobblestone. I just thought that was interesting. I have, as you can see, a lot more still yet to do, and this is just putting out the cobblestone. I still have to get the wool and make the carpets and get everything placed. So there's a bunch more coming. I just needed to let you guys see this. It's interesting information. Anyway, I'll be back. The platform has been built with a little help of Cuddles over here, who is standing here, all helpful. And also, hopefully I've done the math right. This should be all the wool that I need. This is, oh, of course, clicking on the top. I'm going to get to work on making carpet and laying all of this out. And she's probably going to be helping. Oh, she's moved. And she's probably going to be helping with that as well, since she is sticking around. And so this is going to get transformed into a field of dark gray, and then my Thorn of Night is going to be somewhere around here-ish in the middle. I'm going to actually have to measure it to see exactly where I want it to be because I don't want it to be the minimum size Thorn of Night. I want it to fill up the whole thing. So a little bit of experimentation to do. I will be right back. Two interesting things of note. Uh, the carpet blocks themselves cast a shadow to the south. I don't know if you can actually see that clearly, but I will hold still so the video doesn't have too many artifacts. But if you look, there's two rows of carpet down there, and on the map, it shows the two rows of carpet, and then just to the south of it, there's a medium gray bar that goes all the way across. So it still has an effect there. I just find that interesting. But also, uh, I wildly miscalculated how wide the lettering was going to need to be. I thought I would have enough space on here to make like double thick bars for my logo, but that's not going to happen. And the result of that is this is going to have to be an asymmetric print or an asymmetric pixel art because the map is 128 blocks across. However, my logo is an odd number symmetry item. And so, just like with making circles, you have to choose between having a two wide center line or a one wide center line. And the center line for this would be right here. So I'm just going to have to arbitrarily pick this as the center point and then go from there. So when I have the final product, and it gets rotated, it's going to have a tendency to lean one pixel left or right depending on its orientation. And that'll be okay. It's just I was not anticipating it. I was hoping to be able to have two wide so that I could gain or lose a bar somewhere along the way. But at this scale, it's just not going to look right if I do that. So I'm just going to have to go block for block, and that's fine. But I am going to get to work on placing the, well, she is somewhere helping with the uh, carpet. Looks like she's over there. You can see the bar moving all on its own magically. So I'm going to get to work on the wool. She's doing the carpet, and hopefully this won't take too terribly long. And I will have a nice finished product for today because I want to show you what I had in mind for this map. I'll be back. Okay, a whole lot of placing of carpet and some wool. Slight miscalculation in how many blocks I needed. I really thought I would be able to at least do double thickness letters, but if it's 45-ish from the middle out to one side and the map is 64, then there's no way I could have gone almost 90 blocks. I would need a size 2 map, and I'm not going to make something that unwieldy just for this project. But here we go. You probably remember this from the intros and outros of my video, but yeah, it's the Thorn of Night logo. Um, I have left the rest of the field. Whoa, that's interesting. I have left the rest of the field completely gray because I want to do something with maybe trying to make an ambigram of the word subscribe or something like that. I don't know. But the idea is to take this and turn the maps into little things that I can just hand out to people and have them put up and uh, demonstrate the ambigram because, I put a lot of work into coming up with this. And in case you didn't pay any attention to my intro, uh, let me go back to the base. And this is the same thing that I was just hovering over, try to get it to line up a little bit so that it would be a sneaky transition, but you can see my head off to the left and the sign off to the right. But what you may not have realized is this is an ambigram. An ambigram is a type of word that when it is written down and turned upside down, word or phrase, it says the exact same thing upside down as it does right side up. So like for instance, when you say mow, like mow the lawn, it's MOW down there in the chat in the bottom left. And if you turn it upside down, it says mow again. Whereas if you were to say mom and turn it upside down, it would say wow. So that is not an ambigram, but this is. And so there's lots of words that look pretty hideous as an ambigram, but I was really happy with the way this one turned out. It's really simple. You can do it in Minecraft and blocks, and it actually reads as Thorn of Night. You don't have to really stretch too hard. I mean, I have the of in the middle like that, but just to show you, let me rotate this 90 degrees and then 180 degrees, and there we go. Thorn of Night. Right side up again. And you can see that it moves it's 1 pixel to the left here and to the right there, but it's subtle and that's fine. But there we go, my Thorn of Night ambigram. I'm going to be adding a little bit more to the blank space up above and below so that there's a little bit more going on before I start handing it out to people. But yeah, this is what I wanted to put on top of the volcano. So I had one somewhere safe and ungriefable. So there we go. My Thorn of Night ambigram right there between my subscribe and the number of subscribers. And that goal is still ever approaching. Let's see here. It's 137 subscribers away. And if you aren't one, do me a favor, just go ahead and go down there and subscribe. It would make me feel great to be able to reach that goal. And I'm going to keep trying to put out new stuff, at least on Performium once a week, but also several other series, some that I have already begun working on, including the long play series and some other stuff. But this one in particular, I'm trying to go for at least one Performium video a week so that there is stuff to see and do on here. Ultimately, my goal is to make a place for people to come and visit and do things and have activities, little games or puzzles or something. But for right now, I'm just trying to get some builds in so that I am kind of back in the swing of things and so that I can have some more videos up. But the next project that I'm going to be working on is probably going to be the wall. At least try to get it started. I've been tossing around several different ideas on how I want the bark to look, and I've had some that were just real letdowns, but I've narrowed it down to about 3 or 4 different styles. And originally, oh well, here's some bark right here, or here's some wood. Originally, I was going to try to emulate this sort of pattern. Oh yeah, the birds. I keep forgetting. This sort of pattern where it's got little clumps of the light and dark, but I like I like the feel of random stuff. So what I'm leaning towards is a a sort of a depth. Like in normal bark you've got high spots and low spots for like oak trees and things, and they run vertically like that bark over there. And the interior, the low spots tend to be a little darker, whether it's because of lighting or because of material that's gotten in the grooves. And so I'm thinking of having low spots that come in a little bit like this, and then the high spots be the actual bark, and the low spots be its own assortment of 2 or 3, something like that, and colors, and then the high spots. Ooh, that was some lag. And the high spots be just the rest of the assortment of browns. That way, I have the depth, the darkness, the color variance, and also I might do a little bit of. Uh, Patches of some of the lighter tones, like take out some of the darker ones for the raised bark, but I am working towards a final assortment and arrangement for the bark so that I can get started on that project. I don't have anywhere near the number of blocks that I need to do this whole place, but I can at the very least get started on some of it to sort of get a feel. But I think that this video has probably gone on long enough, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please give a like. I do appreciate it, and it does help. Um, it gets my videos out and viewed, and it shows me that you like what I'm doing. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. It'll make him and me and yourself very happy. Just go down to the subscribe button and change this number here up and up and up. It'll be great. And that's basically it. So I'm going to wrap up. Thank you once again for watching. This is Thorn of Night, and I will talk to you later.